All right, all right. What is up, everyone? What's up, Johnny? How you doing?
What's up, everyone?
Yes. All right. Primo's down in the audience too, recording us. So I know probably KG's recording on his OBS. There's probably 1,000 recordings going on right now between all of the Eternals, the Primes, Elementals, all that stuff. OBS for the win. Yeah, for sure, KG. All right. So the way that this is going to operate is we're going to go through the questions that you guys are doing in the channel. I just abbreviated because some of them were a little bit long, so we're going to try to get through as many questions as we can until Johnny has to get out of here. But yeah, we're going to just fire away, and then the recording will be posted later. KG will probably upload it on YouTube, but also we have our own MP3 that's running right now, so should be a good AMA. All right, Johnny, you ready to do this thing?
Let's do it.
Alrighty. And then if I'm messing up too much, Blake, Matt, or Tyler, just come on up and replace me if I'm really just ruining everything. Alrighty. So number one question here comes from Blitz is, can you please confirm if retroactive XP will be given weekly or daily? Can you explain the thought process behind this decisions?
Yeah, sure. So the retroactive rewards is going to be calculated on a weekly basis. So in reviewing the goals of the Chrono Imperium feature, I sat down with the team. We knew we wanted to reward players for being active, long-time members. That's why it's important for us, that in order to earn XP going forward, players have to interact with the feature itself, with the obelisk itself, right? But also, serve players that can't commit, like playing huge amounts of time all the time, every day. So Retro XP was actually not in the plans before, but when we were reviewing the feature, we thought it would be a really good chance to reward the current long-time holders. For you guys, your loyalty holding since Mint, some of you acquiring long ago, Prime Eternals. We really wanted to kind of, do that. So there was a couple ways, we looked at different ways we could cut it, so to speak. We have this complexity where the slice is only open a certain period of time per days. We wanted to kind of make sure that it was easy for you guys to understand like how much you'd be getting. So ultimately, we decided to go 1-for-1 once per week, but we count all the way back to when the first mint happened. So regardless of, if your wallet was if you were playing with those guys in a particular slice from a different wallet, all that shit we just disregarded, and we basically said like, look, from the point of acquisition, every week 1-for-1. That's how we're going to award the XP, to the allotted amounts that we've already kind of described. So it was just the cleanest way for us to do it, and also be fair to you guys as long-term holders, and get you something for feeling like fuck yeah, like I had this. This is great. So some of you guys that have a lot of things, like you're going to make more. On that first retro claim that you do this week, you're going to make more. Progress in the system than somebody who otherwise, acquired things more recently. So that's kind of the full answer there.
Awesome. Thanks, Johnny. This one was also extensively talked about during the community. Comes from Blitz, but also there's just a lot of other people too. The Prime community sentiment on Prime Eternals receiving 150 XP versus Elementals 100 XP has been conveyed. Can you provide some clarity on this decision? Let us know if this is something that you would consider changing.
Yeah, sure. I mean, no, we're not going to change it at this time. We've reviewed it. We've seen your guys' commentary. I think it's unfair to say that the whole community sentiment is one way or another. I feel like it's mixed. And there's good reason for it to be mixed, because I think different people have different bags and different holdings. We made the decision based on a few factors, okay? And some of those factors you guys may be aware of, other ones you may not be aware of. First and foremost, we don't control the market prices for elementals or primes. What is a multiple of X today could easily turn into a multiple of Y tomorrow. That's part of the fun of Web3 and owning your guys' assets and being speculative and all of these things, is that you can grab onto something early on that you may not for a good price, and it gains value later for some indiscriminate reason. By the way, elementals, I've said time and time again, every opportunity I've had to talk with you guys about elementals, whether we established them via free mint or however we did it, and we could have, of course, done everything a lot cleaner and better in retrospect. There's always better ways you can do things when you're looking. Hindsight is 2020. But elementals, from the beginning, we've ever talked about them, are not some second-class shitbag citizens of Messina. They are living gods of Messina. They are one step down from Prime Eternals. They have an enormous amount of utility and functionality in the game. They are not new player, gamer, walk in the park assets. The price to come into the game when we get it to scale is not going to be an Elemental Eternal either. These are not giveaway assets to every person that comes in the game. These guys have a lot of extreme value, and they've also been specifically designed in a consistent manner to be symbiotically attached to your Prime Eternals, augmenting their value across multiple different features and gameplay parts of the gameplay, right? And then finally, and most probably importantly, the long-term health of the game is not going to be dictated by these top-end assets anyway, right? These are Prime Eternals and Elemental Eternals are just a small sampling of the total population of champions that need to be in this ecosystem to make it healthy. They're literally the cream of the crop, the top of the cock of the walk, the top of the mountain. If we get to scale, these are not going to be assets that are easily attainable by anybody. They're going to be highly coveted, highly valuable. They already are in many cases. Okay, so I want you guys to keep that always in perspective. That there's 10,000 of these guys. Yeah, there's 10,000 of these guys. That's a drop in the bucket of like how we want to scale this game, right? Okay, that's my answer for that.
Great, yeah, and I think sometimes there is like just a perception that like a free mint is like not going to give you much. Like that wasn't the case when it came to us, right? So like free mint does not equal worthless, and I think we've just seen so much of that pattern in crypto that a free mint equals worthless or not going to get benefits for a very long time, 2 or 3 years until the game's developed. Like that's what's going to happen, and I think it's hard because we're doing things differently. So it's just breaking out of the mindset that free equals worthless. That's not what we're doing for us, as Johnny mentioned. So just also want to do it from a crypto perspective as well, because for me, whenever I trade and I do all that stuff, it's like, oh, free mint or whatever, people probably flip these things. And also that's the reason why a lot of people are upset, or like there is like some type of things. It's just like, that's just not how we anticipated. Elementals were always badass from the very beginning. Johnny, next question. Can you walk us through the Chrono Imperium and various tiers? How long you expect the average player to take to reach each given tier?
Yeah, so this is a really easy answer here. I think, we want the Chrono Imperium's tiers to be really this long-term goal, and both from a progression standpoint and an acquisition standpoint, and a general holdership standpoint. It's really kind of this catch-all additional reason to show you like a daily progress or a weekly progress or whatever you kind of want to set your bar at as a player and a holder. As you acquire more assets, as you engage with this thing more, you see progression in the system, right? It's just a feel good. It's a dopamine hit every day. You're going to come in, you're going to touch this thing. Every time you get a new asset, it's going to gain a little bit more, right? As far as the tier progression itself, here's what I can tell you guys. We don't have any average players yet. You guys are not average. Anybody that's going to come in every day and touch this thing is not average. Everybody that's been here in the ecosystem since either the Prime Eternal Mint or even the Elemental Mint is not an average user. So there's no way for us to plot a course for what an average user's engagement is, nor holdership, because we just don't fucking have, none of you are average. You guys are way above the average. And again, I want you guys to keep that in mind, the forefront of your mind. You're not the normal jabroni gamer that's going to come in here, and play a few hours, play a few sessions, and dust out 10 minutes later. Okay, so we don't have an average yet to calculate.
Right, and that's what we're doing. And I think also just in the context of like where we're wanting to go is like millions of players. Like it's not, by proxy too. Like these elementals and also Prime Eternals are going to be extremely rare in the grand scheme of millions of players. And that's our goal for this community. Is it like you guys are super early and all that stuff? So it's one of those things. Is like once we have the average player going up, we'll be able to do those calculations, but we just don't have that answer right now. Next question. Based on early calculations, it could take decades for regular gamers, single prime holders, elemental holders to climb through the ranks. Can you comment on that? Is the trend tier designed to be a way to have whales consolidate assets or whatever? But yeah, also comments on that, Johnny.
Yeah, so this is kind of tied to the prior question, pretty directly, but I'll kind of give a little bit more, just bigger picture here, right? So again, the Chrono is set up in a way that encourages long-term value for all players and holders, right? So that's you guys as OGs and long-term holders, big bag holders, right on down to like the earliest, hey, new guy comes in, gets his first asset, now he has something to do, right? So the Chrono Imperium system will evolve over time to serve this goal as needed. It is designed to incentivize and recognize the accumulation of assets over the course of time and pair that alongside basic engagement within the ecosystem, because that's what makes for a healthy, interactive experience. So this will include, again, whales and newcomers alike. And going one step further, this is one of these things, guys, where again, it's a gaming ecosystem. It's a game. We have to add and modify and iterate as we go. We can't stick to these like ways that it is all the time. We expect this to evolve, as we've said. That means we will probably increase and find new ways for you to gain XP if the Chrono Imperium feature becomes something in the game, in the ecosystem, that's healthy, that drives great player engagement. If it's something that becomes a big hero to the larger player base, that the average player goes like, holy shit, I want experience. I want to gain more. How do I do this? And we see that becoming a very, very heavy demand. We will find ways to allow players to progress through the system faster as needed by adding new sources of XP. And there's already ideas on the table, for that, in terms of like, hey, maybe when you touch the obelisk, you get your daily allotment. Maybe there's a bonus XP that's awarded if you engage in the daily challenge battle or a daily challenge event and you place or you win, right? You get a bonus on the daily accrual. These are the things that we will most certainly test and add to the system over time. And there's even ways, again, XP being an extracted system or extrapolated system, I should say, it allows us to kind of award XP arbitrarily for other things too. Like, I don't know, like 10 points to Gryffindor, motherfuckers. Like, we can do stuff like that in the right context, still keeping it fair, where maybe it's like a tournament this weekend or there's a promotion going on. This allows for that layer of engagement to be added to your behavior, right? Where you go like, we want you to do this. You get an XP bonus for it. It adds into the system. You get some extra value that's filtered down through all of your assets. Very fun, blockchain-y kind of game idea.
Gotcha. All right, thanks, Johnny. Just keep on going down this sheet that I have here. Will the retroactive claims include the daily ongoing rewards or just XP?
Yeah, this is a great question. Simple answer. So it's just you're just going to get the XP at first, right? So once the currencies and rewards for all the tiers and the daily rewards become available in the gaming ecosystem, and I know the next question you guys are going to ask is, when is that coming? It's coming soon. We have a lot. Now we're making our migration to Polygon. We have a lot of aggressive plans to kind of get some of the economy going in short supply here, getting the wheels greased and getting things up. But once those different currencies become added to the ecosystem, they will then be able to be claimed going forward from that point. In whether it's one of them, two of them, three of them, all of them, as they come online, they will not be taken away from you. Those daily rewards, however, yes, those will not become active until those currencies are added. The reason for that is there's a nuance in this system from a sourcing standpoint where we don't necessarily want to provide all of the source at once, specifically at the daily level, where you guys don't have some viable sinks to put that currency into, right? Where you feel like it's not just weighing the economy down. You can still make progress through the tiers. You can still get yourselves, and there's still a reason to come in and progress up because you're going to get ultimately more rewards at a higher level. The faster you tier up when those rewards do come online, But right now, no, it's just gonna be the XP because that's all we have ready in the ecosystem. We don't have other stuff turned on yet.
Thank you. And the next one comes from Pierre. I'll start naming the names as well. Sorry, Pierre. Well, will the daily rewards, gold, essence, etc., be earned right away? Or okay, you already kind of answered that. Will they require an obelisk interaction the same as XP? How can we recognize which wallet is set as a main wallet for an account?
Yeah. So yeah, first of all, yes, you must claim it each day. The daily claims are daily. Right now we're set it to slice openings. That's 3 days a week, obviously. So those will be 3 claims per week until we get the game up to more days open. In the future, when it comes to like where the resources go or where the accrual goes to. So in the future, you'll be able to set your primary wallet to whichever wallet you'd like, right? So that's something we've talked about with the master account already. So you're free to switch your primary wallets, but until this is implemented, this functionality, you're going to be able to choose which wallet any on-chain rewards go to, right? So for the most part, they'll go in most cases to your master. I assume most of you guys will just let it go to your primary wallet. But in the future, you'll be able to for whatever reason, if that wallet is not the wallet you want to become the master anymore, we'll be able to transfer all that stuff to the one that you designate. So.
Gotcha. And then next is from Arkham. You mentioned other ways to generate Messina. Can you please confirm the only way to ever generate Messina in-game will have to go through PE ownership?
Yeah, guys, I've said it many times. And I don't have my fingers behind my back, and my fucking nose is not growing with wood right now. The only way to generate in quotations Messina in the current plan is via Prime Eternals, right? We want to preserve this. We've said this. We feel like it's the right way to kind of have those Prime Eternals be nodes that generate the Messina. There's going to be requirements for how you generate the Messina, again, because it's an interactive experience. So players will be able to earn your Messina through means that you guys set up, different opportunities that we give you guys, whether that's, through UGC, tournaments, bounties, different ways that we allow you guys to participate in the partner economy. And then, of course, there's also, some way that you'll be able to mint your land deeds and things like that, where you can directly sell or trade the land and components for land that you yourselves generate, right? But again, we feel like that's the appropriate choke point for Prime Eternals once we get to land base and the crafting economy. You guys are the source of all that. Of course, other players will be able to get their hands on this stuff, but it's going to be through your guys' benefit is the mechanism there. That's what makes you part of the partner economy, in a way. And again, more details for this will come out as we get there. I mean, we have a big fucking game to build before we get to this stuff. And I know everyone's really concerned about it and excited about it. So are we. But first things first, we have to kind of lock our core battle loop, our core progression loop, our core champion progression loop, and start to bring players into the game so that you got some motherfucking customers for all your land and shit.
Right. I think I'll just add on to that just a little bit in terms of that is the main reason why we're trying to go for millions of players. So millions of players come in, and they'll be able to then your specific UGC tournaments, bounties, and all that stuff, in which that like you guys can start generating Messina to be able to do whatever you guys need to do. So yeah, I agree with Johnny in terms of like the partner economy and everything like that. And I think it's hard for us to, and I'll just be completely transparent. Like I know what's behind the screen, and I think I could speak for Blake, Tyler, and Matt as well, the community team. We know everything that goes on. We just can't give you guys all the context just yet because like it's still under development. Like we don't want to over promise and then under deliver on a lot of that aspects of things. But like a lot of these things are coming really quickly that you guys can see the full vision of like what the partner economy will look like. And for everybody that's in this room and the ones that are chatting, like you guys will be very happy with this because a lot of the rewards will be going to you guys, not to people that are passively just kind of there. You guys are the ones that putting in the work in terms of building this community as well as playing the game. Those rewards, and Johnny's, correct me if I'm speaking out of turn here, will majority go to you guys because you guys are participating in the economy and the participating in the game itself. So,
Yep.
The next one comes from Arkham as well. Could you please give us a few examples of ways to generate Messina other than daily claims done with Chrono?
Yeah, so I mean, I won't spend a lot of time here because, like I said, this is systems to be designed in the future. But some of the early ideas, right, is when you actually have land, there's going to be a concept of being able to maybe assign your prime eternal as an overlord to a particular piece of land where they can engage in different requirements and tasks that generate Messina, at the drip level on a per land basis. Again, that's an early idea, so you can screenshot me and say whatever the fuck you want, but at the end of the day, this is a system that needs to be really thought out well and designed well. But that's like a basic example of some of the things we're thinking about.
Gotcha. All right. Trying to find one that like you didn't really touch too much on. I'll touch on. Okay, so Blitz also is chatting to me saying that. Okay, will there be slice times available for different time zones to log in and touch the obelisk going forward? It will be for Southeast Asia, I can tell you that much, Blitz, because there's people coming in and playing from Southeast Asia. So that is like moving forward going to be the case. Johnny, you can speak a little bit more to times, but I know that over the next few months, we are going to be moving very quickly to more times and kind of a ramp up to 24/7. But Johnny, if you can add more color to that.
Yeah, I think like right now that we just added a time to kind of cover that time zone. There's a lot of time zones that are I don't want to say broadly covered now. This is what I would say. If any of you guys are having trouble getting like, hey, this time just doesn't work for me, like give us the use case, and we'll do our best to kind of like consider that extending, by whatever we got to extend by. But we have a pretty good coverage across the dial right now in terms of like when the slice is open. There's a lot of opportunities for most of the time zones that you guys exist in for most of the user base. But we'll do our best to accommodate as we can. Right? We want you guys to be. The goal is for you to actually come in and claim it, and engage with the game. So we of course want to try to accommodate that.
Yeah, the other thing that we're trying to do is reduce barriers for like browsers. So like sometimes we know that like people can't, do it if they're like a Mac user, and that's something that we're going to be working on. Well, not working on. We're actually going to be shipping for Thursday for people to be able to log in using their Mac or using maybe a computer that isn't ready to download Champions but has like a pretty good internet connection. You'll be able to go in and log in and touch the obelisk for that daily reward. So, going back to the sheet here, Blitz, I'll touch on more of your questions. I didn't forget about you, but as Chrono Imperium starts, many players will receive Chrono loot boxes. I understand there are 3 types of loot boxes planned so far. Will there be able to open them right away? Will there be able to use what's inside these boxes right away?
No. So again, similar to the rest of rewards in the Chrono Imperium. In the rest of the tiers, these boxes are not going to be claimable until they're added at a later date. But and this is pretty cool, is like I can confirm that all the contents of these boxes, are exclusive to the Chrono Imperium feature. So, whether it be a pet loot box or a weapon loot box or whatever, or even a cosmetic loot box, there's no other place you're going to be able to get those from within the game, earn them from within the game, except the Chrono Imperium feature itself and these boxes, right? So yes, of course, in most cases where those items are NFTs, yes, you'll be able to put them on secondary and sell them, and other players might be able to acquire them that way or trade them, right? But as far as like the distribution of those exclusive rewards, they come through these, and we saw some early concept art of how these boxes look. They look pretty cool. They have like the Imperial seal on them and everything like that. They're pretty dope looking. When we do add them, at a later date, they will have exclusive contents in them.
Alrighty. Next here, going back to Blitz real quick, will there be tournaments or events gated for champions with certain Chrono ranks? That's a pretty cool question.
Yeah, where is that?
It's in the town hall. It's a chat. It's actually not like Blitz edited his questions.
What was the question again, Peyton?
The question was, will there be tournaments or events gated for champions with certain Chrono ranks? I actually haven't heard of that us talk about that, but
no, but
we
that's
discussed
exactly
that
the kind of thing that, as a vehicle, makes it's a fun idea. So that's something that for sure we could consider that. That's a rate limiter. It's a kind of thing that we could make be very exclusive and fun. So definitely something we can consider.
Yeah, and like it could be like rewards or something like that, like double the loot boxes or something, or instead of the first winner get one loot box, maybe the top 4, right? It would be something cool like that. I think that's a really cool idea. It's a good idea, Blitz. So we'll take that as a note for sure. And then just to finish up Blitz's questions here, if you rent out, and sorry, this is not on the sheet, Johnny, but if you rent out your Prime, who will get the Chrono XP? I don't think we've talked about that either, but if you've thought about that, please let them know.
Yeah, so that's something that we need to think about a little bit more. I mean, technically, if they're renting it, it's again, we have a couple different models of how that all is going to work. In terms of taking it for a ride, paying for the rental itself, or more of a contract allocation of engagement requirements behind it. So it really kind of is going to, but we're going to take a note of that one, because that's something we're going to have to consider anyway in our go forward plans to add. But off the top of my head, I feel look, if somebody's paying for it to take it for a ride, they get to go where they get to go with it for that day. The cool part about the Chrono Imperium XP is, again, it's a fluid system. So, it doesn't necessarily prevent you guys from selling your assets ever, or putting some in there temporarily and selling them, right? But any new assets that come in, the XP that goes in is there, you earn it. So whether if you have 10 guys in there to start with when you start claiming, and you get to tier 2, that's awesome. If you sell 5 of those guys, you're still at tier 2, with the experience that you've accrued, right? So we're probably going to incentivize it specifically to that train of thought, but the specifics of it we'll have to think about more.
Going to go to another question here by Clinton. Can we get the daily rewards for just logging in?
No, you have to touch it. And also, remember to hug your children and kiss your significant other daily as well.
Thank you, Johnny. Alrighty. Okay, so Dennis here is also asking a question here. I'll just read both of them. So what would be optimum PE to elemental ratio for generating Messina with XP? The community is saying 1 to 5. There are over 7,600 primes chasing under 200 available. How is this not going to force PE holders into a massive bidding war? And what would you estimate the extra cash needed per PE to be? And I'll just jump in here first, Johnny. That sounds like financial advice, and we cannot give that. So the open market, everything that you guys are doing in terms of bidding and all that stuff, we cannot touch that. We cannot tell you, Dennis, if you're listening to this, what to do with your money. We just can't. That's just not legal. And so we're not going to tell you that answer. That's the decision based on what you have gathered and your thought process on things. And yeah, we're not gonna talk on a recommendation of how much Prime Eternals or Elementals that you can. You guys can speculate all you guys want in terms of community. I'll be the bad guy here. I won't let Johnny tell that. But yeah, we can't do that. But the next question though from Dennis is: the early supporters paid up to $2,700 per Prime back in February 2021. A year later, Eternals were gifted for free in a marketing push with many degens farming whitelists. This was a known problem. XP is central to the economy. Can you explain why price and time invested is inversely correlated to XP generation? I don't see any realistic way in which elemental owners would want to buy a Prime Eternal over an elemental unless Prime Eternal holders send elementals to the moon. Can you appreciate how it feels as a Prime to have remained loyal to your vision all this time?
Yeah, so first of all, there's a lot of assumptions in this statement. In many cases, it's a statement and several questions with several statements attached to it. But what I can tell you is Chrono Imperium experience is not central to the in-game economy at all. It is an advanced feature for holdership where you accrue a certain level of bonus rewards per day for engaging with it, has nothing to do, nor is central to the central economy of the game. So, the average player, again, if we're talking about massive players coming in, what the grand design of the game is and what the grand hope is that we get to a significantly large, player base, right? Those players will really never be able to claim some of the higher tiers of this without, again, buying their way in and acquiring your assets, as in many cases, because that's going to be the way to do it, right? Is going to be to acquire a significant portion of some of the higher value targets to get the daily rewards, get those daily things. Those are all bonuses. They're not central to the economy. The central economy of the game is based on a build, battle, and expand loop that we've described many times. You go into the arena, you fight for glory, you win essence, you either win or you die, and then there's something that you can do to build back up again and progress your champion through the tiers. That is the core loop of the economy. That is what's central to how the game is going to be from a progression standpoint. Chrono Imperium experience and all the rewards above it augment that, but it's not central to the economy in any way. It is the progression measurement only for that feature. Okay? The value of the PE includes many on top of this, Prime Eternals include many benefits associated with the actual economy and the in-game gameplay overall. These are listed. They've been detailed multiple times. Here are some examples, and I saw Arkham put together a pretty badass cheat sheet, so shout out to Arkham, who is most certainly in the lead for being what I would consider where I want the partner economy to go, which is, where you guys as Prime Eternal holders are basically the project managers for this ecosystem. You and you guys in yourselves, like, when I see some of the stuff like you guys put together, it's super detailed and well thought out, right? So he has it's a great cheat sheet. Maybe you guys can pin that or something. But here's right. There's so many additional benefits that a PE owner gets by having a PE that have nothing to do with the Chrono Imperium. They exist in multiple layers of where the game is. There's no way that, and there's one thing missing, by the way, from there. They're the only tier that can earn siring fees from breeding. So they're the only ones that can stud out. Prime owners are the only ones that can get a siring fee on a listing, right? You can still breed and you can still do that sell, but they're the only ones that get that. So, and that's missing from I think that might be missing from your list, Arkham. But outside of that, it's a great list. Ultimately, PE's place in the economy is still the unequivocal apex that it has always been and will always continue to be.
Great answer. Blitz, he said your question is more around the optimal PE to elemental ratio for maximizing rewards. Okay, yeah. Again, I don't think we're going to also give that knowledge out.
You guys can do your own calculations there.
Yeah, you guys want to do your own calculations. Like,
also, XP itself, again, Chrono experience is not what generates the Messina in the future. So you can have all the elementals in the world, okay? You can have all 10,000 elementals. You can drive up the tiers really fast that way. You don't have a Prime Eternal. You don't have multiple Prime Eternals. You're going to get a drip. You're not going to get a drip. So if you have all 10,000 elementals in your wallet, you drive up that whole thing, you don't have a Prime Eternal in your wallet, you don't get any Messina from this feature. Do you guys see the symbiotic relationship there? You guys as Prime Eternal holders now have a super valuable asset that guy that has 10,000 elementals that is missing out on tons of Messina claim every day that he would otherwise have access to, now wants to acquire your Prime Eternals. There is a symbiotic relationship in place for both of those assets in this feature.
Awesome. Buddha also, actually, good question to clear this up. We will be ranking up XP starting this week. Will the rewards for each level be retroactive as well, since we can't get them now?
Okay.
I think it's just that's more in the chat. Just it's a more of a reply to like some things that you said.
Say it one more time.
We will be ranking up with XP starting this week. Will the rewards for each level be retroactive since we can't get them now? And just to probably where the confusion, I think the confusion is that like you're only going to be able to get XP this week. It doesn't mean that everything else in those tiers are not going to be retroactive too. Like you're going to get
the claim buttons. So the claim buttons. So once you reach the tier, the one-time claims, they will be grayed out. And then once those, you will still have reached the tier. And you'll still have access to them. When those rewards get dropped, that button will go green or whatever color. I think green will probably be the right color there because green means go. You will be able to claim it, retroactively, right? So once gold gets added to the economy, if you have claims in the tiers, you'll be able to claim it right on down the line. Once the loot boxes get added, you'll be able to claim those, right? So, it'll kind of be like a little party there for you guys as these things come online and you have claims on them.
Gotcha. Next question comes from Miguel. Why push elementals to be more expensive, mint? And this is, you're kind of already touched on this, but I just want to make sure that Miguel's getting the answer that he wants. Were those supposed to be the entry level assets for Web 2, Web 3 gamers? Why would someone buy a Prime Eternal over an elemental with how important XP gain is? How will the team protect Prime Eternal holders from individuals that have acquired large amounts of elementals? You touched on it. Arkham's specific graph as well kind of outlines some of the benefits, but I know that you also wrote something for this one as well, Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, Miguel, dude, we really appreciate you, man. Like, I know you're so passionate about this stuff, but elementals, we're not pushing them to be better than the Prime Eternals. It's a false narrative, man. Yeah, they've also at the same time never been described as an entry-level asset. They're their second most relevant asset in the economy, and they create a symbiotic relationship for Prime Eternals. They have their own identity, but their presence in the ecosystem is designed to enhance the value and diversity of the Prime Eternals as well. In breeding, in battle, in essence mining, in land exploration, which we'll get to at some, and exploitation, in crafting, et cetera, the list goes on. From the beginning, this message has been blasted out, and I apologize for those individuals who decided that the opposite is true, that they're not valuable. But that is your own determination. It is not the position of the project holders here. All the information provided has spoken to the opposite of this. Entry-level assets, once again, for this game, the intended entry-level asset for this game is free. And then they will be colliding with your guys' merchandise when they actually want to make progress and do something cool in the game. They will be colliding with your merchandise, not ours. The next level up from there, obviously, is a bread challenger. That's going to come from where? Rough love of Prime Eternals and Elementals. So yes, you can breed Prime Eternals with Prime Eternals. You can also breed Prime Eternals with Elemental Eternals to create some very unique new combinations of champions that nobody has ever seen before. That if they get up through the ranks and up through the tiers and they reach Eternal status, will be the first of their kind to reach Eternal status. Super cool progression goal for a new incoming player that's going to want to buy your shit.
So sorry, I accidentally clicked disconnect instead of unmute.
It was so fucking awesome that Peyton literally hit eject.
All right, sounds good. Arono, no. I will play that. Pronounce that right. Good name, by the way. Does retroactive words take into account asset movement with various wallets similar to XP?
Yeah, so yes, XP is tied to the account master. So, and claimable rewards go to that master account. So that was a question that P-Ray kind of asked as well. So currently to make it convenient, right, it's going to go to the wallet that's account master in there. At some point in time when we allow you guys to kind of like redetermine what your master wallet is, they'll go into there, right? So that'll be something that we kind of leave a little bit fluid. as we go, once we bring a little bit more functionality and UX to the master account feature.
Sounds good. And then we're almost done, Johnny. Clinton Clambert, regarding essence accumulation, the whitelist states that each champion has a meter with a daily limit. If we have several champions, we have to be switching champions once each one meter fills, or we'll be able to have a general container that we can manage. How will be daily rewards essence to be assigned? Will it to be a champion or to the maestro? This was a freaking banger question. But Johnny, you can answer.
Holy shit, Clinton Clambert. What a fucking nightmare you create. Well, dude, commendations to you, man. So this is edge case design, but edge case design of the most important kind of nature. It's one of those things that, to be honest with you, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, we hadn't considered this. It was one of those things that in design we kind of just missed at first. So the last 48 hours, which we have no time as it is with everything we have going on, this became a very big topic internally as we started to roll through different options, right? So it actually led to some pretty big changes, not with this system in particular, but with some of the other statements that we made in the past that don't quite make sense. So first and foremost, and this is, I guess, alpha for you guys, we're not going to put any more daily earning caps for essence per champion, right? So if you guys look in the white paper, and we're going to change this in the white paper, so there's a few lines in it that talks about daily caps on essence accrual on a per champion basis. This was kind of a legacy of the old token design when we had tokens featured in the economy. Since we've moved to a non-token, relegated economy, this becomes less of an edge guard case that we need. And we want you guys to engage as much as possible, right? But despite this change, so that's number one. That's pretty big change there. And I think it's a good one. I think it's overall positive to where we are now with the current phase of where we're going with the economy and how the game is going to function. But beyond that, despite that, we're toying with the concept of a general container and how we can make that work as both a beneficial game system, smooth out the UX. So the daily rewards will still be attributed to each champion. We've just updated the white paper with an illustration. So we're also going to get in a diagram that's going to try to illustrate this into the white paper soon, of how that accrual is going to kind of filter on down from what tier you're at, the bonus that you get for it, and then filtered on down through all of your champion holdings at different levels. Beyond that, and I think this is kind of one of the questions that comes after that, if you want to read it, Peyton, but it's the fill question.
Okay, yeah. If we fill Champion's Ascension or Bone Meter and we use some, can we continue to fill it? Or because it maxed out, it can't be filled anymore until after ascending?
Yeah, perfect. So, daily claims are going to, as I mentioned, they're going to fill all the respective champs' meters where to the letter of what the daily claim is, it'll fill it up, right? From the claim. For those that hit fill caps, though, the remaining overflow will still be granted to the champion, but it's got to be used before the next claim date. So what this is going to allow you guys to do is, from a simple UX standpoint, if you have all your champions, you're going to go in, you're going to get your claim, it's going to filter on down through all your holdings, but then in each champion, you're going to have to basically just go in and either level him up or mint the crystals. Once you deplete that out of the meter, any of the stack overflow that's there from the claim goes into it automatically, and you will be able to either carry it into the next day, or if it's enough, you mint another crystal or level up again or whatever. These are rare cases. In many cases, this is going to be for guys that have super big bags, and there's probably going to be a few more additional UX modifications we make to it to even make it a little bit more user friendly when we get there. But this was a great kind of two-pronged question, dude, that came in that really helped us kind of scrutinize some of the edge case design we have around the claim windows and how we're going to execute that. So we will have more documentation coming as a result of it. We'll flag you guys when that stuff gets added to those changes get added to the white paper as well.
Perfection. That was Clinton MVP, bro. Yeah, they hijacked my meeting this morning, which is a bummer. But it's okay. I forgive Ice Toad and Johnny. All right. Two last questions, and then again, I'll pull some of the chat because it looks like we have 15 more minutes. Will we consider decoupling XP from Prime Eternal Daily Collection, Messina, Gold, Breed Count, and allocating proportionally 1 out of 7622 per Prime Eternal? I don't know why I said it like that. 76,022 per Prime Eternal over an emission schedule. This is to reduce the bias in holding composition and bias towards whales versus small holders. Same for land. You get what you put in. Fair and more democratic? No? Question mark. Yep, your reply.
Yeah. So first of all, this is an empire, not a democracy. So you guys should remember. But no, realistically speaking, right? We've said time and time again, we're a game, so it's important for us, that the players that come in on a regular basis and come back to playing the game, they're having fun on a regular basis too, and they're feeding the vehicle of the game, which your guys' assets exist within. Right. So this, along with the players' holdings, that's what is going to contribute to the game's overall health. And the time and effort that players spend in the game is the most valuable component of what they put in past the dollar amounts that they spend, right? Because on average, again, this game is going to open up to a wider user base. A lot of those players that are coming in, they're not going to be spending the level that you guys spend to get to the tiers you're at. They're going to be putting in a lot more engagement, though. And those levels of engagement are eventually going to hit different points of friction, again, where they collide with your holdings and things that you've created and put into the economy. And that's where they're going to want to convert. And they're going to want to kind of make a seamless transition into like if you want to call it like putting money in side of the business, right? So, again, try to guys keep this in perspective. Like, every time that we give more and more and more to the top line assets, which you guys have, we need to try to remember not to take more away from the aspiration of the incoming player. Because each time you add something that takes away from that aspiration of eventually growing in power and growing in value and progressing in the game world itself, right? You ultimately are hurting your own back, right? Because you're limiting the ultimate value that's going to come through the ecosystem there. For every player that comes in, every new player eventually that comes in, in a year from now when the full game is like going strong, that they come in and they get to that point where they go at the point of conversion, fuck this, I cannot compete with these guys. I'll never be able to compete with these guys. There's no way for me to aspire to ever be important in this world. They walk away. And that's a customer walking away at that point. Your customers. So that sentiment of taking away from them all the time is not going to help grow the overall value of the game, the ecosystem, and it's never going to lead to the potential growth opportunities that we have. It will result in a small crop of Prime Eternal owners or Elemental owners where you're kings of an empty kingdom. And believe me, guys, the saddest king is a king in an empty kingdom.
Oh, well, that's poetic. We'll make sure to put that on a Twitter post for sure. Yeah, agree with what Johnny said. We're also building a game, right? My aspirations for the marketing team too is to have like millions of players coming into Messina, and by proxy, like out of everything, guys, like by proxy, the more players come in, the higher the idea of being a Prime Eternal and the Elementals get into people's heads. And that being said, like they're willing to pay for that specific Ascension, right? So it's in the name. So in a lot of ways, like that is one of the best ways for our assets to go up. To be honest, is to having a lot of players that want to aspire to be you all, and that's the goal. And we need to make sure that we set an environment for them to want to keep in, to get that aspiration to be a Prime Eternal, to be an Elemental. So, yep. Last question here, and then we can get on one-offs. We got 10 minutes left. there is a concern that Elemental Mint, and this is by Laughing Buddha, there is a concern that Elemental Mint might have been exploited, allowing many people to accumulate large quantities of elementals, thus giving them the opportunity to reach Transcendent 100 over longer standing members. With the new master accounts, perhaps we can get some stats to give these members peace of mind. How many master accounts are there that hold more than 80 elementals? How many are there that hold more than 80 elementals and no PEs?
Yeah. All right. So here we go, man. Here's the analytics, right? So I love analytical questions that kind of that cut the bullshit and get right to it, right? So yeah. Again, now we can't see everything, so there is. I will affix a little bit of grain of salt. We can't see everything, but from what we can see, and we can see quite a lot. What we can see is we have 5 accounts only. So I don't know where the number of 80 elementals came from, but it maybe is some of the rantings and ravings, a fun number to use. But only 5 accounts, master accounts right now, have more than 80 elemental Eternals in them. Not a single one of them has less than 5 primes in them. Okay, not a single one. The only account that has a large percentage, or I should say a large portion of the total elementals live in the ecosystem that doesn't have any prime Eternals in the account is the treasury of Play Labs.
And we have like no prime Eternals. Let's just be real.
We have prime Eternals in another account, but that's for our own promotional ease of use. I don't think we're in there to claim Chrono Imperium rewards. We're not in there to become, compete with you guys to be the transcendent one. You guys know who you're going to be competing with there to reach that goal. And I think this stems from a larger sentiment from some of you guys that are super engaged in the project and have a lot of holdings and specifically a lot of Prime Eternals. Dudes, I really don't want to give like a guarantee, but I highly doubt any of you not being able to get into the Transcendent 100, or I should say, seeing somebody else squeeze into the Transcendent 100 only having elementals in their wallet compared to you guys who have just a much larger array of holdings across the board. And again, based on my earlier commentary, even if they do that, okay, the daily claims and value that they get, the thing that they're going to want next right away is a Prime Eternal. Should drive up the value of both collections that way. And again, maybe I'm overly optimistic on that, but hey, I'm an overly optimistic guy. So that's the way I'm going to answer that. Dollars to donuts, these accounts just don't exist. Those 5 accounts that have more than 80 elemental champions in them, they are long-term Prime Eternal accounts as well.
Perfect. All right, y'all. That's it. Laughing Buddha's typing. So we'll wait. Okay, yeah. Buddha says 100 was thrown around a lot. Just wanted to lower the number a little to be able to include more possible exploiters.
No worries, dude.
So I will also I will point you guys in also another direction. Is go to an app called bubblemaps.io. app.bubblemaps.io, and it just maps specific things. It's helped me a lot in my crypto career, and so it just helps kind of Slime is put it there too. It's really, you have to have the contract for the ETH address. It's on it, so it's very useful. So just a thought, check it out. Do some blockchain investigation. If you want to be super crazy, you can use breadcrumbs, which I also put another thing in, but that's also a whole nother. This is the one that Zach, if any of you guys follow him, he's the one that sleuths out a whole bunch of things. And if you guys want to be sleuths for sure, you guys can do that too. the thing that I love about blockchain, and I'm more than willing, if you guys like want to like know a little bit more on how to investigate the blockchain, I'm very like I'm an amateur, like if anything, but I know how to like go around Etherscan. I know how to use breadcrumbs to a certain extent. I know how to use bubble maps to a certain extent to really see like things on that aspect. So like that's what I love about blockchain. It's super transparent, so you guys can kind of do the math, and then yeah, there's some other things that like we can only have, which is like the master accounts that Johnny's kind of told you guys. But like yeah, there's 5, which leaves like 95 more people, and I'm guessing a lot of them are in this room. We don't even have 95 people showing up to our audience, right? Soon there will be, and you guys will be at a huge advantage. And I will also say to, and this was a little bit of alpha, that like the loot boxes are going to be coming up back up, and for the lightning tournaments, that's in the pipeline very soon. And let's just say that like it would be very beneficial for a lot of you guys to do so with another rollout that's coming out in the summer. That would be extremely useful. So that's the other alpha that I'll give you guys for now, before Johnny slacks me and says shut up. So alrighty, Johnny, you survived. How are you?
You do it, guys. Yeah, so I want you guys to know we're really excited. As we close this out, we're really excited to kind of deliver this feature to you guys. We know that when we launched the project originally, a lot of things were said, not necessarily by yours truly, and we've done our best really to navigate around what those things were and really actualize them into what we think are going to be positive ways forward for the project, and also adhere to those ideals, right? And you guys who have been with us for a really long time, there's no way that we don't want you guys to be some of the biggest beneficiaries of where we're going with this. That's always been top of mind for us. You're at the forefront. One of the biggest reasons we stipulate that everything can change is because that's the one thing we don't want to change. So as the game evolves, as the ecosystem evolves, as the regulatory landscape evolves, as shit comes fucking down the pipe that we have to react to in real time and fix and mold and shape, the one thing we don't want to change is that you guys who have been so loyal, who are part of the partner economy with us, who we are low key transforming into the project managers of the project, okay? And because that's my grand plan. I think it's one of the most revolutionary concepts that's going to push gaming forward, is to have these really inset communities become. That's what blockchain unlocks for me, and player ownership, is that you guys have a real value add incentive to become the masters of this project, both from a knowledge standpoint, a delivery standpoint, execution standpoint, and everything above. We don't want that to change. We want you guys to be the beneficiaries of that because, A, yes, you've been very loyal, but B, you are part of this with us. Like, you guys are the secret fucking sauce. You're the secret motherfucking weapon in the arsenal that we have that all these other big motherfuckers do not have. League of Legends does not have that. World of Warcraft does not have that. Their players are fucking players. They are not participators. They are not partners. They feed the ecosystem with their engagement and their money, and have for years and years and years. But their players are just incentivized to be players. Blockchain and player ownership and Web3 gives you guys and us the opportunity to to deputize all you motherfuckers as partners of the project, and have a real incentive at the end of the day that you guys can feel like you're a part of and get it. So the reason everything else can change is because the one thing we don't want to change is to keep you guys at the top of the ecosystem. Okay? Keep that in mind. That is a real true statement.
That's what I DM'd Miguel on that side, and that was the message that I was trying to convey to Miguel as well. Is like a lot of this, this is V1, right? So our main priority is you all, making sure that like our partners like Arkham, making that sheet, right? That's freaking amazing. And all the things that you guys are doing in total, like in terms of like the guilds, right? The TPS, the Wardens, Nightmare Society, Egg, you guys are like have been here and helping us build this game alongside of us, and we're going to reward that. And just keep on being vocal. You know, we have a team that is committed to you all, right? I think Ethernaut, my wife bought this. You know, Blake. I think you guys know him more as Blake. Myself and my guy Slime. We are here, and we want to constantly improve our communications with you all to make it a better experience for you. And so, yeah, and I appreciate you guys being patient with us too. And this is my soapbox. Johnny already hyped everybody up, but like I just want to say thank you all too for just kind of opening up the gates to Messina. I know coming in here was a pretty big shocker, as well as Blake was signed on pretty quickly. But we just know that we're committed to helping you all with anything that you guys need. And again, sorry that maybe haven't been as present as I want to be on Discord, but know that we're building some cool shit in the background. Like I really am super hyped. We're talking to a lot of people, and a lot of that stuff is going to come out during the summer, and you guys will not be disappointed. I really am super excited for you guys to see all that we're building. And yeah, can we drop any alpha for this Thursday? Johnny, I know I'm kind of like talking to you, like just for the people that showed up live. Let me stop the recording real quick. One second, guys. I'm gonna get Primo out of here, just for people showing up. If you're gonna drop, what do you think you're dropping? If not, I'm so sorry for everybody to hype this up and then not get it. Oh my gosh, where's the bot thing? Don't talk. That. Yeah. All right, there it is. 1 second. Stop. Bam. All right, I think Primo's out. Yeah, Primo's out. These are only just for the people that showed up live to the town hall.
Yeah, so the Wolf will be here. He'll be making his motherfucking appearance, his primetime appearance on Thursday. We just ran him through a final kind of what we call internally as his bar exam. Got a few little changes we want to make to him, just to get him kind of like seat ready for you guys. I'm sure in some cases he's going to feel, OP. I can tell you right now, he's the fastest character coming into the game. So he is he's got a lot of speed behind him. He's definitely got a lot of maneuverability. His Fury of the Titans is unlike anything else we've done. It's going to be something that we're probably going to have to go through one or two iterations to get perfect, or at least not crazy OP. But you guys are going to have a lot of fun with him this week, I believe. So get out there, howl for the pack. Fenrir is coming on Thursday, and I'll drop one extra little piece. So we've gotten a lot of feedback, from the beginning of the first combat alpha that we launched. The game played really fast. And again, game speed, animation speed, runtime speed are all different things, just so you guys are aware. But one thing that we, in recent times, have wanted to do, and we really scrutinize kind of the pace of the gameplay. We're starting to make some pretty significant changes already here, where we've removed parry from several of the families, if not all the families. The game's pacing has become a little bit more aggressive and easy to touch, a little bit more fluid. But you better hold on to your butts, boys and girls, because we feel the need for speed, and the whole game is going to be getting a little bit of a speed uptick to around 20% of an increase, which I know doesn't sound like a lot.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Peyton.
No, Sphinx is saying 10%, 20%. No, it's gonna be 20%. we about to turn it up.
Yeah, so the the dial is up, and I can, first and foremost tell you that it improves the game quite significantly. It's a better response time, and we've moved a little bit, more towards, as the kits have kind of improved, and we have a lot of really great kits coming, and the characters we have coming. I know Oscar Hobbs is on the call right now. Ice Toad's probably around here somewhere. We've really scrutinized a lot of things coming. We also have a potential part update coming, functionality across all the parts, because as the game speed has increased, as we remove parry, as we've kind of brought the vision a little bit more full circle of where we're going, with the larger system. We also Ice Toad recognized the other day that the parts kind of lost their way a little bit now and don't have as much required functionality in the fluidity of the combat. So we've made some idea changes there that we're going to test out soon with you guys. But the game speed increase won't be coming this Thursday. That will probably be